Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Then today, my agenda is I like to discuss about the most important concept in the mold. The two very important concepts you need to master in mold is one, for example, EPA development, EPA design and development. Okay, so that we see ramble, data types, examples, all that stuff, right? That is one, and the second is the transformation. Data view transformation if you are taking a role of a software developer. (75 to 8% of your job mostly focused on these two areas. Rest of the thing, just configuration, only just component configuration. There is no logic you need to define. Only in these two areas. You need to do some sort of coding and some logic. You need to define. Okay, so can you say one more time? The first one is FPI design, right? Yeah, correct. We talked about the ramble. Yeah, and move. What do you call the? What contains the design like ramble and what ramble? You need to understand there is some business requirement provided to you. You need to go through that requirement. You need to identify the resources. What are different resources in that requirement? Yeah, and for that resource, you need to add the methods. Get put first and that's right. That's right. So whenever I heard API design in mold it's ramble, we're talking about, yes, ramble. Okay, and there are different kinds of APIs. We'll see. There are some system APIs, process APIs, experience APIs. Yeah, we'll see that one. Oh, the second one you say is API what? Is it called a development or the system? The first one, you call it API design. Yeah, design part. This one and the DataWeave is what is a development. DataWeave is a transformation language. Okay, transformation, that's what I meant. A MuleSoft primary transformation language. So see, as a broker, you are sitting between different systems, right? MuleSoft is sitting between different systems, right? So this MuleSoft taking messages from source system and delivering the message to target system. So what's the primary activity is doing? Transforming the incoming message to the outgoing message, right? That's right. So therefore, data view is one of the critical activity in the view. Okay, so the transformation, the data is a transformation is very critical activity in the view. So this transformation we perform using the data view language. Yeah, alright, yeah. So let me take you some slides. So this is a very basic session and we see some advanced concepts also today. Okay. So let's start with the fundamentals of the data view. And it talks about data view is a critical transformation, critical activity in any application integration. And data view is a programming language designed for transforming data. It's a definition of data view. It's a programming language using that we transform the data transforming itself from incoming to outgoing, right? So DataView is a MuleSoft primary language for data transformation. And this thing DataView, expression language used to configure components and the characters inside view. Earlier, we saw the DataView expression language, right? I showed you the syntax like this hash and the square brackets. You remember? Yeah, okay, hash and square bracket. Yeah, in the flow, right? Yeah, this is DataView expression language. Okay, this is DataView expression. This is used in our components to extract the mule event. Yeah, and we see attributes, also the L attributes. That query params, that's something you can do, right? So you do. You extract the mule event. We use this DataView expression language. Write and DataView allows user to easily perform read, parse data from one format and transform it and write to different formats. So this takes DataView, reads the incoming format, transforms that and delivers the outgoing format, output format. Right? So let us see how the DataView actually internally works and transforms the data. Okay, so this slide see what our goal is. We need to transform XML document to the JSON document. Okay, right, one sec. So we need to transform the XML to JSON. Yeah, so for that, there are three primary components inside the data view. Okay, so like the reader component, data view engine or executor and writer components. These are all internal only. We are not going to see these components while data view is executing. This is what we are discussing, is how the transformation happening inside the data. We do not worry about the reader component or writer component. Okay, just I'm explaining how the data view performs transformation. What are the internal components out there? Okay, so my goal is I want to transform XML to JSON. So there is a reader component. It takes that incoming XML and it transforms to some common format called DDView format. DView stands for data view format. Okay, so this data view format is based on the XML, how XML looks like. Based on that, it generates a data view format. That data view format is given to the data view engine as an input. So data view. Here, actually, this component contains a data view script, actual transformation script. So this transformation script is executed on the incoming data view format. And it generates another data view format. This is incoming data view format. This is outgoing data view format. Okay, this data view format generated by executing the code on the incoming data view format, right? And this executed data view sent to the writer component, and writer transforms this format to the JSON. Okay, so this is entirely internal thing. Okay, internally the transformation happens in this manner. So make sure I understand. So it elicits whatever the message that comes in. Yeah, this time XML, or could be another, or JSON, or could be another format. Yeah, it reads the information right and then it passes to DataWeave executor or the DataWare engine. Yeah, and then it changes to at that time. Does it? Is that what it does? The transformation? Exactly, or that's okay. Then it turns from that into the DataWeave so that it can be written to JSON. Right, yeah. When it executes, when it transforms from reader to DataWeave and message. And what do you call that? The next slide, I will show you that one. Okay. I think I got it. See. This is ML document. Write X and message. Yeah. Content. This is a content. This is document is given as input to the reader. The reader will take that XML document. Okay, welcome to the live, and here it generates a data view format for this XML. Right, and that is given to the data view in the data view engine. This is a code is written. This code is executed on the data view format, right? See here. This entire thing is payload. A payload message returns this thing. Actually, content because payload is entered. This message to message, starting to message in this payload. Payload message to the internal of this thing. Write message, start to message close. What is that? This content. Welcome to data view. This is the This line will give us an output for this payload message. To trace a format, and it also returns the DDUL format. Sorry, data view format, and that is going to writer. Writer takes that format and converts to the JSON format. So I will run this example on the On1 IDE and I'll show you how these things are, That stuff. Hope you are familiar with XML and JSON. This is simple XML. Yeah, I'm familiar with them. And only one thing we are not familiar is this data view script. The other way, yeah, that is, transforming the input to the output. This one we are not familiar with, right? Yeah. So let us analyze what this script means, how it looks like all the stuff in the script. So that the data view script contains two sections and these two sections are separated by a separate. This is 3 hyphens. Okay, and that's called a separator. Yeah, this is a separator. Separates the header section and body section or the direct to section or core section. Different people call it different names. Okay, top section is called header section. Header are directives. Okay, then what the top section defines is the first line defines the version of the data. Yeah, from Mule 4 onwards, the version is 2.2. In earlier Mule versions, it is 1.0. Current version is 2.2. And next output means to which output format we want to transform that we define over here. Even you can define the input also. That is, the input is optional. Okay, input means what data is coming inside to the script. What format does Data is coming inside script. That depends. And what other things we can define over here is we can declare variables over here. Using the where keyword, we can declare the variables so that we declare in the flow are different. Those are called flow variables. The variable you declare over here. The scope of that variable is only this data in script only. Okay, you can define variables. So those variables we can use inside the data in script. So we can define some variables over here and we can declare some functions over here, some methods over here. We can call those methods in data in script and we can use those functions. Here I didn't define, but what are the things we can define over here that I'm telling okay. Okay, so Ganesh and so like for example like output, input, variable functions. All that you can define it inside the header or is anywhere. Inside the header only header. Okay, got it? And we have other modules. So I will show you how to import the module. How to import different other packages. Those things we can see, we can import also. So those things we do in the header section, in the code section. This is a code we're going to execute. Actually, header will not execute. Okay, the only definition purpose, only header is there. Okay, whatever code we define inside this will get executed. Okay, so this is a very basic stuff on the data view. Right, and to practice. The data view MuleSoft provides an excellent tool on the cloud. You can practice over here. You can get master a data view. Then you go to any point studio and you can implement that in your projects. Okay, so to practice the data view, you need to go through the playground. You can play, right? We can play our football, basketball. Something like data view. Call a break around. You play with length. Do length. So the playground, you can define input over here, this input section. This is a script section where the exact code will get on the input. Right? If you see, this entire thing is a payload. See this payload section, this payload. Yeah, payload message returns this thing. Payload message returns an overload as an output. Alright? So here, if you see, this is to the header. Just, I'm seeing my output should be in JSON so that it can read JSON and I'm extracting this thing from the input. Here our input is JSON, output is also JSON here in this case. Yes, so you can make the input as the XML just in case. I'm sorry, I'm having some water. Okay, right now it's JSON to JSON, but I was thinking the XML. And then you need to define the XML document. Yeah, the formula has to be different. I gotta understand. Yeah, right? See, this input is XML now. Yeah, okay, so this entire thing, I call it payload. Yeah, from person starting to person ending. This is just payload, right? If I print only single payload, see, the output is like this, yeah? And what my output is JSON, because JSON is transparent, So you're not seeing the readers and writers and the slide I show you. Write the reader data view, format and writer. You remember? Yeah. Here in the slide. Slides, yeah. If a reader is there, I transform to data view format and that is given to the script. Script will again transform to data view format. Remember, I'm the writer, transform to final target format. So this thing happens internally. Okay, you need not worry about that. Even if you want to see how the data view format look like, simply you can put like application/aw. This is data view format. This happens internally. Similar like JSON only. But you need not worry about that. That data view take care of that internal format conversion. The system will take care of that. Now payload. If you want payload name, this entire thing is payload. And if I see payload person means it returns the content inside the person. What is that? Name Adam, closing name. This is the content inside the person, right? Returns that one. So this one name Adam name is converted to like this in JSON, got it? Got. When you payload person name, it returns single Adam only. Person name. That name, this one, right? So the strategy to master the data view is what my recommended strategy is. It is a tutorial associated with the playground over here. Let me tell you different format I don't see. So for the playground, right, there is a tutorial associated with the playground. My first recommendation is finish this tutorial. It is very simple. Yes. And very elegant, very good, very simple and understandable. If you master that, if you master this tutorial, you get a good idea of the data view. That is right. Move on to the some complex transformations. I show you the way you find some complex transformations. Those also you can copy and you can put over here. You can execute, you can run and you can understand how the transformation is happening, how the transformation works. In that way, you need to understand, you need to master data. Data. Do you know? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. All the MuleSoft, all the other stuff are like learn how to configure, how to start, how to do the flows and all that stuff. But the two important component in MuleSoft is you have to be good at RAML. And data web. Right. These two are very important. And if you know those two, other things are just configuration thing. Zach, means what I'm saying is, I'm doing my developer role, not an architect role. Yeah. For an architecture role, you need to focus on the security and the performance and the different other aspects also. Catching, logging, all this stuff. Yeah. So for developer role, okay, this is the very two important components you need to master. So the other ones you talk about security and HCE. It's very important, but they're not. They don't fall under development role. Yeah, those also under development only. But there are different options that are available right for security. For you can go for auth, you can go for client side enforcement policy. Yeah, so the architect will decide which is the best suitable fit for your project, for your requirement. And you need to work on that use case. You need to do that. Core MuleSoft and these two are important. And I'm not saying these two only things you need to master, but you need to, I know, but those two are a little bit. Those two, to me, are critical but also intimidating, right? It's kind of a because this one is, you have to like this one, you have to know the syntax. And the other one you have to know and how to design proper an API. Exactly. You have been when the requirements provided to you, you may design. Several people design different ways, but some people may design elegantly with usability. We define some good data types. So that is the skill we need to master. Transformation also. This is the area we need to develop a logic actually instead of data view. Right? We need to do some coding, some kind of logic we need to develop. But the rest of other components, there is very less chance. You need to develop logic. Those you need to configure the component. Right. So therefore, this is a critical one. That's right. Thank you. My last question on the DataWeave. Yeah, and which language that is very close to? Which one you sense? Like the syntax? Is it like a close to JavaScript or is it close to? Syntax looks like a JSON. Okay, JSON kind of stuff. So if you know JSON then it's easy to learn DataWeave. DataView has different things, okay. But it follows the JSON kind of development style. The JSON is useful. If you have master JSON, that's useful actually. Oh, alright. I'll go through the 6 sections in what you call development or the background. Background area. And hopefully by next time we talk, I will have a better understanding. Excellent. On the DataWeave, I will firstly go through this component, the sections, and you need to work on in your browser. That's right. So this talks about whatever we discussed, right? Reader transform to canonical model. Canonical model means data view model over here. And it is a script that this is a one. We're going to write the script over here. It is another canonical model. The writer transforms to output format. So this is what we discussed in our first. You know our slides. If you want to go through this one, and this is one of the important is MIME types. A MIME types is like what formats data we use. Transforming means what are input formats, what output formats. Okay. Majorly most actually in enterprise, right? Most of the things we encounter is XML and JSON. The payload is XML and JSON most of the times. Okay, and so it also transforms some other, not only XML and JSON. They're all formats it supports. I don't know A, B or O means I don't know some of the formats. Excel, XXM and UM-TextPlain. These are formats that DataWeave supports. Means it will take input from this format and it will transform to this output also. Take Java format and transform to JSON, JSON format, transform to Excel format. So these are the format actual DataWeave supports. Right. Go through this one. What supported data formats? But it satisfies most of your enterprise needs. 95 or 99% of the enterprise will be satisfied. I don't see any message apart from this type Java YAML. Maybe I'm not saying there is no message exist apart from these formats, but you can have most of messages get transformed using the DataWeave. These are industry standard formats, right? But most common ones are either, database to JSON or XML to JSON. Database itself is Java. If you use a database, it takes a Java format. Is that right? So when you're doing a database, like say that you query this external database and you get some information and you feed to another system. What format is that? So if you extract the information from the database, it gets a Java format. Java format. And that format we can transform to JSON. Okay, or you can keep it as a Java and write it to database, another database. Unfortunately, I forgot my password. I can show you the database also today. Yeah, that's fine. Another time, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I can show you on the cloud database. I mean, I can't create cloud-based database and show you, but don't worry. Yeah. So one quick question about that. Just make sure I understand it. So when you're dealing with a database, are you going straight to the table and getting information from the table, or there's API exposed to that table that you're dealing with or you're interacting with? In the MuleSoft, we develop the system APIs. The system APIs directly deal with the table. And we develop the process APIs. Process APIs will deal with the system APIs. So this answers your question. Okay, got it. So in the system API, we will talk to the tables. Where in the backend? Yeah. That depends upon which kind of API you are dealing with. You're dealing with the system API. You directly interact with the backend table. If you interact with the process API, you are talking to some other API. That API in turn talks to the database. But sometimes right, sometimes external databases. You can get information from the external database. You get to it through API. Right. Yeah, if you have that API directly, you can talk to that API without going to database. So in that case, you don't need to develop a system API. Correct. Correct. You'll create a process API. You'll create a process or experience. Got. And you go through this, you see the script and also what's the separator and stuff. And we go directly creating data. What are different data types available in the data view? So we have numbers, strings, Boolean arrays and objects. These are primary data types available in the data view. And I recommend to go through each and every section. Try to do it. So here the thing is one sec. I'm going to do this thing, not this thing. Strings. Strings here, right? So there is some operator called typeof operator. Using typeof operator, we can come to know what type of thing is. See here the typeof. This is string, right? It tells the string over here. For example, instead of the typeof I put 1, 3, 4, it tells number, right? Type. If you put true, it tells the Boolean. So typeof operator is used to examine what kind of type that is. But my recommendation is go through this each and every section. Don't miss each and every section. And try to do this exercise. So, in this case, this exercise is what? Just grab the script. Grab. What is the output? What is the input? So this exercise is here. The script is given. So on the script, what is saying is use typeof to produce string. The hello is output, right? Instead of hello, I want string as an output. Right? I want string as an output. Yeah. So how I code my data view so that I will get the string as an output. Right? So here we also put this. So you type typeof, right? This one. Just put over here. And just put back. So that returns. Yeah, alright. So I could be on the same page to test that I don't have to go another window. You can open one more also if you want. There's no. That's nice. Numbers the same, one same thing. So 4-digit, 4 decimal pi representation. Pi, and I think 3/4 is a pi value, right? That's simple. This is very simple. There's just 1 is a number. It returns a 1. If you keep on doing this, decimal number returns decimal number. This doesn't you know? No, it's very simple thing. Number data will support the number type covering both integer and floating point number. This is floating point number, right? This one is, let's go through arrays. Go to the Boolean. Boolean, these two are false. Write Boolean means. Try to get to this one. I want to get. Instead of true, I want to get Boolean length. Value is Boolean. Here to graph it. You do these things and I want to prove Boolean means. So I put of this extra. Similarly, If you put this type of 2, 1 and hello, then you will achieve this thing. This is a target you want to achieve. So this is the now I want to achieve for your number and string. I need to type of. Yeah. Each one we have to say type of. Next arrays. The arrays are defined using the square brackets. That square bracket inside I am defining. This is first element inside the array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third element. Fourth element, right? Okay. If I define some elements over here. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you can define anything. Something that you can. I have first time. This is the access is the first 5 in a array of the first 5 prime numbers. Then Google out what are the prime numbers and you can put over there. I think yeah. 1 like that. Yeah. 1, 3, 5, 7. Yeah. You forget. 2, 3, 5, 4, 7. Okay. It tells you well done. If he tells you if he's correct, you'll tell us. What gives you feedback? I see. See, I see. And objects. I think you are clear with arrays, boolean something, right? Yeah. And objects. Object is like this object is, it is not an array. It's not integer. It's not a boolean. It's like a person. It's like some real-time thing, right? You put in that's not right. Yeah. Like this. Here it is. You find using the opening bracket and closing bracket. That's object. Okay. The key value mappings where value can be of any type. Right. Use repeated keys to obtain XML as for this one as output. I'll take tonic. I'll have a tour. I feel. What's the title? Tonic. How did you do that? Because the output is XML. Even multiple duplicate keys are there. It doesn't matter. So that's what changed the output to be JSON. But this is a watching of the system. Are the keys still repeated? Is this valid JSON? He asked me to change to JSON. So valid JSON only. There's a keys also. You can have duplicate keys. So this is about the data types. We have the strings, numbers, Boolean arrays, and objects. Now we go to section 3. Now, very important thing is we go little complex. Now, this is a single variable operator. How we are extracting data from the input. Data view selectors allow navigating any combination of objects and arrays to the data you need. I want to extract the data according to my need. How you extract data using these operators. Single variable operator index value index selector. Single variable selector, index selector, ring selector, multi-value selector and descendant selector. You see this dot. This is a bracket. This is also some number to number dot, star dot, dot. You need to have clear idea about and you need to practice these things. So single variable selector, we already know this one. Many times we saw. So this is the input and that input. I want to get the name, only name. What I give? Payload.name returns the none. And you want to get only age. This entire thing is payload. Payload.age returns 29. Right, Adam? Yeah, so payload.age, it gives you the value. Value, yeah, exactly. Now this is the input. You can also use single value selector from the square bracket. Square bracket is for the period. This is also used to get the dynamic. See here. If you observe this thing right, this input, this script is output. So payload.name returns a none, payload.age returns a none, payload.dynamic returns age, payload.dynamic returns age. So here what the concept is, instead of dot, we can give the brackets. This payload. Payload dot, the payload of bracket if I give the age. It has to instead of dot. Also, you can give this one. See, we will practice while here. Given input below, string together selectors. To get to prod right. So payload. Yeah, so it's a payload dot stage. Payload dot first environment, right stage is child of everyone. Okay, I see. Dot environment. Environment dot stage. Dot stage right to get prod. So this one, okay, this one, I understand. If they want that right now, for example, Linux, it will be like what? It will be like payload.host. Payload.host. I think because environment is the same. It tells me Linux. Yeah, with host, yeah. So can you go up a little bit? I'm not sure I understand. The fixed one like that, fix that language there. This one, right? So yeah. Sorry, this is input. This is a. So, if you want to, what you need to do is copy this thing. Go to the payroll. Okay. Paste over here. And here is payload. It's right. Now what is that? Payload. Dynamics key. Why do you put the brackets? You could say payload.it. So see payload in the bracket. If it is age right, it returns this value. Yeah. Okay. So instead of age, what I can do is payload dot. I've been the load. Dynamic key. We don't dynamic key returns. What's huge right? Then we don't talk. Then we can see it. We don't have to do this. A little bit of that. Okay, I have a question. So this on the left is the input dynamic key is pointing to age. And that age was, the value was 29. Correct. So if you're okay. But what I don't understand is that, yeah, so we can do payload dot. So I have a question. That's the one. I know that it works. Payload that name, payload that age. What happened if you do payload that they not the dynamics key? Yeah. What do you get there? So the age, yeah. It this time it looks like a JSON message. But we wanna, if you want to display the value of age, then is object. Right. Value of age is 20. That's number. So what do you call this kind of thing? The age here is referred to is pointing to the age. Like number 4, age is pointed to number 3 line. Line number 3. So what I'm doing is below that dynamic inheritance age. Right. Yes. The payload. Payload dot dynamic key. Payload of age. This is age right. Is internally age. The payload of age returns 29. Right. Let's see. Payload that dynamic. Now if you see, if you put like payload dot and I'm the key for instance, that's what it is. It is age right. Yeah. What we can do is I also check this one. That's also a load. Payload, yeah. That age is 20, right? So there's couple of different ways you can get the value. We use a dot, or you can be using square bracket. If you use a square bracket, you need to put that in string manner. The one you need. Payload. You can use payload.name. Without square brackets, without double quotes. Simply payload.name returns. But you can't do it like this. I think this is this one. But our votes, okay. This one. Or this one. With the double quotes. Yes, because it's clear. It looks like the dots on the square brackets both works. Got? Single value of it is very simple. Dot is in your operator. The index value operator. This is our way. This is 0 index. Second index, right? 1 is a part. We and they. Okay. So you go to the other stuff here. Given the following input, get the key. So the second one. 0, 0 on 1, right. So first I go to the 1. I got the second element. Right, and the next in the second element is 0. Right. Okay. Now you know. Double dimensional. And here try to get to it, but using negative. Negative index. This is -1. You need to go from right to left. This is -2. If I do the payload of -2, I'll get the product. Right. Oh, because this is -1. So it's -1, 0, -1, 1, yeah. If I put -1, you get the bottom. This one. Oh, then you say 1, 1 means it will get divided -1, 1. But you need to put only every business. Not one is positive. That's right. Then how you get it? You got a result as you may, and QA is -1. So it is -1, QA is -2. -1, -2 always. You always come to from the right. -1 . Interesting. This is -1. -1, -2. This one again. -1, -2, right. -1, -2. Next to the range selector. When is given like a 0 to 1. Who is the keyword? 0 to 0, 1. 0 to 1 it is. So 0, 1, only an output will be the first two. 0 to 2. Same thing. You first. Alright. This is to obtain the reverse order. Oh, see, this is -1, -2, -3. Right if you go from right to left. Oh, so the data with the count is 0 or starts 1. Yeah, exactly. If you go from left to right, you start 0. Oh, 0, 0, 1, 2. 0, this is 1, this is 2. So if I say -2, that means the first one, like a death. Put 2 over here. You get death. Right? 0. Good one. So index, reverse order from the. There is no -0, right? Therefore, start with the -1. -0 is equal to 0, right? Therefore, this -1 down 0. So -2 it will increment. -1, -2, -3. Write -1, -2, -3. Then I want. Reverse order means I want to tell you and prod my output. Therefore, it is -3. -1, -2, Write this -1. Cool. Yeah. Interesting. That is multi-value selector. Yeah, I want to set multiple values at the same time. So you have multiple. Oh, I see there's a key. I want to extract all these 4 names at the same time. But that what we do is dot star. Pile dot star. It is all the elements with the name. All the stuff. Yeah. That is a multi-value selector. And here also is input price, everything is price. And output. 1, 2, 3, 4 prices. So payload. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dot price means whatever element with the name price. Yeah. So then payload that okay. Oh, that one okay. It's not that one. Yes. In your document, where are the prices there? It is all the values of that. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's all I see. Get array of all title values. This is this one. This one 3 values. Right. Yeah. So movies that titles, yeah. Or movies that start. Start title. Load not movies first. And movies and get. Then that. Then that's title. Start title. Right. You know 1 second. Oh no. Is using a single value operator instead. What happens? What does it return? The first occurrence or last occurrence? Single value. The dot. Single value means you see the single value set. This is the multi-value set. It is a dot star. Use the single dot. It returns the first one actually. Always the first one. You see, your set on array returns the first one. Okay, notice the second. Even in the playground. Oh, I will give you something like your two names, right? If I give you a load, yeah, yeah, is the first occurrence. And this is a selector. So it is, you see here, this is the entire thing is root. This is the first child. First child. Sequence, this first child is echo. And sequence is also peer 1. Right, this is the sibling. It is not the same range. Right, echo sequence. Yeah, and they are not at the same level. Right, this is the echo and sequence are same level. And sequence. Are they same level? First echo, the first echo. Which one first echo? They are same, right? Yeah, same level. Okay. But this echo is not. This is, yeah, it's under sequence, right? And this echo is under. Try is child of the sequence, right? Under try, there's a curl on echo. Yeah, colored echo. Yeah, this echo has 3, at 3 different levels. I want to extract these all 3, right? In that case, you need to put something called dot 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 echo. The first one, copy and go to playground I put over here. Right, payload. The payload dot echo it returns. It returns this one, only first matching one, the first one, yeah. Right. So if you want to get this one, how to get payload dot sequence dot echo. Right, yeah, sequence dot echo. I return this one getting details, right? You want to go in this one, payload dot sequence dot. Try dot echo, one more level to go down, right? Okay, but I don't want to go in such manner. I want to extract all echoes. Okay, yes, let's put dotted echo C. The second one getting details. And third one, so means so. So in the script here says that good find the payload, that it could be the first or could be second, but it has the echo. Yeah, No matter at what level it is, I want written, it would return all as long as it says echo. Yeah. Written on the things, right? Yeah. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.